Well, good afternoon. You're tuned into the Rajya Sabha TV. It is time for the midday news with me, Aishwarya Kapoor. And here are the headlines. Prime Minister Modi holds talks on trade and investment with his Italian counterpart Giuseppe Conte. Both leaders to address a valedictory session of India-Italy Technology Summit. Italian Prime Minister to lead a 200-strong delegation to the summit during day-long India visit. Doordarshan News camera person killed in a Naxal attack in Chhattisgarh. Attack carried out in Dantewada district. Team was on pole duty in the state. Supreme Court modifies its order on bursting firecrackers on Diwali, says order on use of green crackers meant for Delhi NCR and not pan-India. Time for bursting crackers in Tamil Nadu and Puducherry to be changed but not exceed 2 hours. Sri Lankan President Sirisena under increasing pressure to reconvene Parliament after he sacked Prime Minister Vikram Singhe and sworn in Rajapaksa in his place. Ousted Prime Minister's party calls for protest claiming coup. Assert he has majority in Parliament. And search teams recover more remains of Indonesia Lion Air jet that plunged into sea with 189 people on board. Reports say jet had suffered instrument manufacturing the day before its fatal journey. A top story this hour, a Doordarshan News camera person has been killed in a Naxal attack in Dantewada district in Chhattisgarh. The news team was on pole duty in the state. Remember, the state is scheduled to go for two-phased elections on 12th and 20th of November. DD News team was attacked in Dantewada. The team was on pole coverage. So this is the biggest news story that we are tracking this hour. So this is the top story this hour. Remember, the state of Chhattisgarh is going for polls. It is going to be two-phased polls on 12th and 20th of November. And ahead of that, we saw violence. A Doordarshan News camera person has been killed in a Naxal attack. The news team was on pole duty in the state when the incident happened. The incident happened in Dantewada district in Chhattisgarh. The camera person has been killed. So this is the biggest story that we are tracking this hour. A very grim news coming in from Chhattisgarh. The state is going to polls in the month of November on 12th and 20th of November. And ahead of those elections, we have a DD News team attacked by Naxals in Dantewada district. And a Doordarshan News camera person has been killed in the Naxal attack. So grim news really coming in from Chhattisgarh, where elections are to take place. And on to some other news, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is holding talks with his Italian counterpart Giuseppe Conte at the Hyderabad House. The Italian Prime Minister is on a day-long maiden visit to India today. The two leaders are holding talks to boost cooperation in key areas such as trade and investment. The Italian Prime Minister's visit is part of the ongoing celebrations to commemorate the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic relations between India and Italy. The highlight of the visit will be his participation in the India-Italy Technology Summit. Prime Minister Modi and the visiting dignitary will address the valedictory session of the summit later today. The Italian Prime Minister will be leading a 200-strong delegation for the summit comprising business leaders, scientists, heads of research and scientific organizations and technocrats. The 24th edition of the India-Italy Technology Summit is being organized by the Department of Science and Technology in partnership with the Confederation of Indian Industry. The focus of the summit is on areas including healthcare, aerospace, education, clean technology, renewable energy, and information and communication technology. The 24th edition of our Technology Summit with Italy as the partner country was inaugurated in the national capital on Monday. Science and Technology Minister Harshvardhan said that the two-day-long summit will create new opportunities between both the countries to synergize their national aspirations in the fields of science, technology and innovation. Here is our report.
Science and Technology Minister Harshvardhan has called for the promotion of high-quality and high-impact collaborative research projects with a focus on boosting technological entrepreneurship between India and Italy. Inaugurating the 24th edition of Technology Summit in New Delhi with Italy as the partner country, Harshvardhan said the two countries have benefited from joint initiatives like beamlines and synchrotron. He added that India and Italy must look at developing competitive products together so as to boost their economies.
Technology Summit should provide an invaluable platform for forging new knowledge business and knowledge solution partnerships between our two countries. I am confident through this technology summit, we will be able to harness and upscale the potential of Indo-Italian collaborative advantage that provides value to our economy and society.
Addressing the summit, the Italian Deputy Minister in the Ministry of Economic Development, Michele Geraci, said Italy was looking forward for greater collaboration with India in the field of science and technology.
We are trying now to develop economic policies that would sustain the growth of our domestic economy and our international economy for the long term. So we are perhaps I wouldn't say for the first time, but with a stronger emphasis, try to make long-term plans without the need to look at short-term achievements.
The two-day summit is focusing on renewable energy, clean technology, information and communication technology, healthcare, aerospace, education, and preservation of cultural heritage. The valedictory session of the summit will be addressed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi and his Italian counterpart on Tuesday. Aruna Thakur's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
And earlier, Prime Minister Modi returned after concluding his Japan visit early today. The Prime Minister described his visit as fruitful. He added that it re-emphasized India's commitment to further strengthen bilateral ties and open new vistas for cooperation. Prime Minister Modi on Monday concluded the two-day 13th India-Japan Annual Summit with his Japanese counterpart Shinzo Abe, during which they discussed the issues of bilateral interest, the situation in the Indo-Pacific region, and the two sides also signed several agreements during the meeting, including one on high-speed rail project and also naval cooperation. The two leaders also agreed to initiate a 2+2 dialogue involving their foreign and defence ministers.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe on Monday took part in the 13th India-Japan Annual Summit. Both leaders discussed a range of bilateral, regional and global issues, including the situation in the Indo-Pacific region. They also signed 6 agreements, besides concluding a $75 billion bilateral currency swap agreement. The India-Japan Vision Statement was also released.
साझा विजन पर हमने हस्ताक्षर भी किए हैं। कल यह हमारे भविष्य को नई रोशनी देगा। हमारे बीच पूरी सहमति है कि हम अपने सहयोग को डिजिटल पार्टनरशिप से साइबर स्पेस तक, स्वास्थ्य से रक्षा सुरक्षा तक और सागर से अंतरिक्ष तक हर क्षेत्र में अबाध गति देंगे।
जापान अपनी उच्च गुणवत्ता वाली इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर निर्माण के माध्यम से भारत के देश निर्माण में योगदान करेंगे। 7,500 करोड़ डॉलर के जापान भारत मुद्रा स्वैप पे भी हमने हस्ताक्षर करने पर सहमति की है। मुझे आशा है कि इस समझौते से भारत के वित्तीय नियमों में नियम सरल बनेंगे और इन्हें बढ़ावा मिलेगा और दोनों देशों के आर्थिक संबंध में और प्रगति होगी।
India and Japan have agreed to increase cooperation between the Indian Navy and the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force. Japan has also agreed to the second round of loans for the Mumbai-Ahmedabad bullet train. It is also formally joining the International Solar Alliance (ISA) after the ratification of its framework agreement. Japan has also agreed to ease visa rules for Indian citizens, besides holding detailed discussions on the current situation on the Indo-Pacific region.
जापान और भारत के संबंधों को हिंद और प्रशांत महासागरों से गहराई और विस्तार प्राप्त है। ये संबंध लोकतांत्रिक मूल्यों और स्वतंत्रताओं के प्रति और रूल ऑफ लॉ के प्रति साझा प्रतिबद्धता पर आधारित है।
Meanwhile, Japanese investors announced they will make investment worth $2.5 billion in India. These projects are expected to generate 30,000 jobs in India. Both sides also agreed to hold 2+2 dialogue between the foreign ministers and the defense ministers of the two countries to boost peace and stability between the two nations.
भारत और जापान के सहयोग के बिना 21वीं सदी एशिया की सदी नहीं हो सकती। आबे-सान और मैं हमारे विदेश और रक्षा मंत्रियों के बीच 2+2 डायलॉग के लिए सहमत हुए हैं। इसका उद्देश्य विश्व में शांति और स्थिरता को बढ़ावा देना है।
जापान भारत के नए युग का प्रतीक सुरक्षा सहयोग के तहत हम मंत्री स्तर 2+2 की पुनः स्थापित करेंगे। रक्षा के क्षेत्र में भूमि, समुद्र और आकाश में आदान प्रदान को मजबूत करेंगे। रक्षा सहयोग को और गहन करने के लिए हमने एक्विजिशन एंड क्रॉस सर्विसिंग एग्रीमेंट, जिसको हम ACSA बोलते हैं, इसके लिए अपनी बातचीत को आरंभ करने पर भी समर्थन किया है।
Earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi was given a guard of honor upon his arrival for the annual summit talks.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi did not only talk about ease of doing business in India, he also talked about ease of life, which was the highlight of his address to Japanese investors, and Japanese investors liked it most. With Sanjay Kumar, this is Amit Kumar Shrivastava from Tokyo for Rajya Sabha Television.
On to some other news, India and Qatar have decided to set up a joint commission to strengthen their relations and regularly review all the bilateral matters. The joint commission will also regularly review regional and global issues of mutual interest. The decision was taken after External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj met the Emir of Qatar. A joint declaration was issued after the talks between the two leaders. The Joint Commission will be tasked to strengthen the relations between the two countries, particularly in the areas like commercial, cultural, scientific, technological, information technology and educational fields. It will also be responsible for following up the implementation of the agreements concluded between the two sides, among others. Sushma Swaraj also interacted with the Indian community later in the day in Qatar. She appreciated the contribution to the progress of the country. She also released an information booklet for Indians in Qatar. And Sushma Swaraj's next leg of visit would be to Kuwait. And India's first container movement on inland waterways vessel is scheduled to start from today from Kolkata. Inland Waterways Authority of India officials said that food and beverage giant PepsiCo would move 16 containers from Kolkata to Varanasi on National Waterway 1. The vessel MV RN Tagore is expected to reach Varanasi in 9 to 10 days. The vessel will make its journey return back with the fertilizers belonging to IFCO that will be procured from its Purpur plant in Allahabad. The government is developing National Waterway 1 under the Jal Marg Vikas project from Haldia to Varanasi, covering a distance of 1,390 kilometers with the technical and financial assistance of the World Bank at an estimated cost of 53.69 billion rupees. The project would enable commercial navigation of vessels in a cost-effective and environment-friendly mode. Road and Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari will lay the foundation stone for India's largest dry dock at Cochin today. The new dry dock is being constructed at a cost of 1,799 crore rupees. The project is expected to be completed by May 2021 and generate employment opportunities for about 2,000 people. The dry dock will be equipped to build specialized and technologically advanced vessels. The dry dock will give an impetus to the Make in India initiative under Sagarmala and will also raise India's share in global shipbuilding to 2%. Currently, India occupies a 0.66% share in global ship building market. And Transport Minister Nitin Gadkari will also lay the foundation stone for 3 national highways project in Kerala, costing 1,557 crore rupees. And in midday news, we'll take a very short break here. We'll be right back. Welcome back. On to the other big story of the day. The Supreme Court has modified its order on bursting firecrackers during Diwali. The Apex Court has said that its order on the use of green crackers during the festival was meant for Delhi NCR and is not a pan-India order. The Apex Court also said that the timing for the bursting of firecrackers in places like Tamil Nadu and Puducherry will be changed but will not exceed 2 hours a day. Meanwhile, cracker manufacturers in Tamil Nadu have filed a review petition in the Supreme Court against its order to permit only green crackers during Diwali. The manufacturers in the review petition have said that police are harassing fireworkers and that the industry is dying. Meanwhile, the World Health Organization has released a report that presented a very grim picture of India's pollution level. And according to the report, over 1 lakh children under 5 years of age died in India in 2016 due to exposure of toxic air. Industries, households, cars and trucks emit complex mixtures of air pollutants and form ambient air pollution. And due to household air pollution in 2016, about 66,890 deaths of children below the age of 5 years were reported, out of which 36,073 were girls and 30,817 were boys. The WHO report examines the heavy toll of both ambient and household air pollution on the death of children across the world, particularly in low and middle income countries like India. And the report noted that air pollution is one of the leading threats to child health. And scientists at the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research have developed environment-friendly firecrackers which produce 30 to 35% less particulate matter. Science and Technology Minister Harshvardhan made the announcement that these firecrackers have a unique property of releasing water vapor or air as a dust suppressant and dilutant for gaseous emissions. He added that they even match in sound with the conventional firecrackers. The new environment-friendly firecrackers have been named as a safe water releaser, safe minimal aluminium and safe thermite firecrackers. Now, these crackers, however, are unlikely to be produced this Diwali. The minister said that the endeavour of the CSIR is aimed at addressing pollution concerns and at the same time protecting the livelihoods of those involved in this trade. And in order to mass produce these firecrackers, manufacturers would require to get a license.
ये सुनिश्चित करेंगे कि आने वाले वर्षों में ये ग्रीन क्रैकर्स हमारे उन कन्वेंशनल क्रैकर्स को जो कि हमारे एयर की क्वालिटी को दूषित करते हैं रिप्लेस कर सकें। इन पटाखों में उतनी ही रोशनी, उतनी ही ब्राइटनेस और उसी प्रकार का आनंद जैसा वर्षों से कन्वेंशनल पटाखों में लोगों को मिलता था वो उपलब्ध होगा।
And the Supreme Court has directed the Hyderabad police to provide adequate security to businessman Satish Sana, who is the complainant in the alleged bribery case against CBI Special Director Rakesh Asthana. The bench refused to stay the CBI summons against Satish Sana and also rejected his plea for the recording of his statement in the presence of retired former Supreme Court Judge A.K. Patnaik. Satish Sana on whose complaint an FIR was registered against the CBI Special Director, had moved the apex court on Monday seeking police protection and a stay on the notice issued by the agency for summoning him for interrogation. Meanwhile, CBI officer A.K. Basi, who was investigating the bribery case against Rakesh Asthana, has moved the apex court challenging his transfer to Andaman and Nicobar. Basi, who was hearing the probe in a bribery allegation against the agency's special director Rakesh Asthana, told the court that he had incriminating evidence related to the case and asked for a SIT probe against the officer. The apex court, however, declined the urgent hearing. News from Sri Lanka now, where President Maithripala Sirisena is under increasing pressure to uphold the island nation's constitution and reconvene parliament after his decision to replace the Prime Minister triggered political turmoil. The Speaker of Parliament has also warned that the unfolding political crisis threatens to turn into a bloodbath unless order is restored. Sri Lanka was plunged into crisis on Friday when President Sirisena sacked Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe and swore in ex-President Mahinda Rajapaksa to replace him. Wickremesinghe now says that his sacking was illegal and he maintains that he is still the Prime Minister and has the support of a majority of the members of Parliament. Meanwhile, Rajapaksa on Monday assumed his duties at the Prime Minister's office. Ever since Sirisena declared that the cabinet had been dissolved with the appointment of a new Prime Minister, members of trade unions linked to the new Prime Minister, Mahinda Rajapaksa, have blocked ministers from the old cabinet from entering their ministries.
I would like to say that a majority of members of Parliament has asked for resummoning of Parliament immediately by the Speaker.
And news from Indonesia, where the search teams recovered more remains at the site of a crashed Lion Air jet that plunged into sea with 189 people on board. Reports say that the plane suffered an instrument malfunction the day before. The plane, which went into service just months ago, crashed into the Java Sea moments after it had asked to return to Jakarta. The jet speed up as it suddenly lost altitude and then vanished from radar 13 minutes after takeoff, with authorities saying that the witnesses saw the jet plunged into the water. Dozens of divers are taking part in the recovery effort. And earlier on Monday, Indonesian President Joko Widodo met with the relatives of passengers on board.
Agar malam hari ini tetap bekerja 24 jam menggunakan lampu untuk mempercepat.
And that's the wrap on this edition of Midday News. Up ahead is Khabar Dopeher. Thanks for watching.